All right. All right. All right. Hey, happy Wednesday. Hello, everybody. All right, it's time for our Wednesday live. How y'all doing today? How's everybody doing? Okay, so let's get started here. And I think if you're on TikTok, you might see Xtina on here in a few minutes. Usually she'll get on here and she'll like y'all up to speed as far as like what y'all need to do or what is necessary for y'all to be able to get a reading or to get a session. But let me go ahead and clarify for everybody. So for those of you who are new to my lives, I get on here every Wednesday and every Friday as often as I can. And I do about an hour and a half of free readings. So there's no cost for this. For those of y'all on TikTok who like to throw money at psychics, y'all don't need to throw money at me. This is all free. So there's no need for any payments or anything like that. So, but all right, so we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and also on, what was the other one? Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. So that's what we're on. So this is your chance to ask me, a psychic medium, a professional psychic medium, because I don't just call myself that. I actually do this full time. This is my full-time job. But this is what I do for a living. So you can ask me your questions, and your questions can be about your life or it can be about connecting with the loved one in spirit. So if you want to connect with your life, if you want to get a reading about your life, you need to specify your question. Be specific with your question. So if you say, I want a reading, or can I get a love reading, or can I get this, or can I get that, is not a question. A question is, are me and Bob gonna stick it out, or are we gonna end up breaking up? When do you see me getting married? Do you have an idea when my finances might get a little bit better, or am I gonna get a new job this year? Those are specific questions. What can you tell me about is not a specific question. Do you have a message for me is not a specific question. Is there something I need to know is not a specific question. I want a reading is not a specific question. So if you don't ask a specific question, you miss your opportunity to get me to actually answer it. So just FYI for those of you who are new to these. So for a psychic reading, psychics do not see everything. We do not know everything. Contrary to popular belief, those are myths. We only sense things, and that's a big difference. So whenever I focus my attention on a specific question, I tune in and try to get the answer as clearly as I can. Everything comes to me in bits and pieces, and I usually have to put it all together based on the pieces that I get in my mind. I usually see a visual or a symbol in my mind that I probably need to interpret. I may feel emotions connected to your future experiences that helps to clue me into what I think is going to end up happening. I also have memories come up because my brain is trying to help me understand what is going on in your life. So it will use experiences from my past to help me understand your situation. So if you're going to end up being a trucker for a living, I might have a memory pop up of having had a conversation with another client about being a trucker, or having a memory of the show Roseanne where Jackie was going to become a trucker. That may pop up. That's my answer. And so that's how I get my psychic information. It comes in bits and pieces, and I kind of have to frame it and piece it together. That's how the psychic part works. Mediumship, same thing. The same methods and the same mechanisms in my brain are being triggered, but they're not being triggered by me asking the information. They're being triggered by the spirit sharing information with me, because they're the ones that are directing the conversation. So when I connect with the spirit, I don't see them, I don't hear them. It's not a fully understood, like, every word. It's not like a conversation where if I were having a conversation with someone, we're using words, we're using language, we're using precise meaning and understanding to communicate information across. It doesn't work that way with spirit. With spirit, they have access to my mind, to my body. I've given them permission to use me. So at that point, they have to trigger what they want me to say. So sometimes they may trigger a number, usually means a date of significance, whether it be the day or the month. If they trigger a name, they're going to try to get me as close to a name as possible. So if there's a name Shelly, they may be able to get me to say Sheila or Shelby or Sharon, or it's got a Shah sounding name to it. So that's going to be how they operate. And usually the names are connected to themselves, to a person that is in spirit with them, or to someone alive that they need to bring up in the conversation. And so when I communicate with them, their job is to trigger Same thing, thoughts, emotions, and memories inside of me. I've got to pay attention and figure out what they're trying to say with that. Sometimes it's pretty clear. Sometimes I have got to put 2 or 3 pieces together to figure it out. Sometimes I never figure it out. But if I share it with the person, even though I don't know what the hell they're talking about, or what the heaven they're talking about, oftentimes the person knows exactly what they're trying to say, even though I don't know what's being said. And that's just because I don't know everything. I don't see everything. I only sense things. Big difference, right? Like I said. And so that's how the mediumship part of it works. And so when I when I look into the future and I try to tune into a situation, that's me accessing things through my psychic intent of understanding what it is. When I'm communicating with spirit, they're directing the show, and I just have to go with where they want me to go with it. So that's pretty much how it works. They have to use the Ferny emojis in order to communicate something across. It's not like if I tell you, hey, text your friend the directions of where to go, what to order on the menu, and yada yada yada, but only use emojis, don't use words or language. That would make it much more challenging. It's the same thing with them. That's how they communicate, but they're using the Ferny emojis in my head. So that's pretty much it. So go ahead and put your questions in the comment section below. If you want to, and by the way, even though I'm on a stage, I'm on this platform, I'm not the only person that can do it. Every single person on the planet can do what I do, and some people can do it better. And that's what I do. I teach people how to do this. But everybody can learn how to do this. This is not like a Ferny special type of thing. And so I've just learned how it works, and I teach people how to do it because I've spent years trying to tune in and use it myself. And that's all that I do when it comes to people, but everybody can do what I do. I don't believe that we are all like, oh, some of us are born gifted. I don't believe in calling this a gift because really is a skill. Being born with the ability to understand tones and actually creating a work of art with music are two separate things. You can be born with an affinity for this, more of a sensitivity. Doesn't mean squat for me. You have to actually use it. I have people all the time like, Ferny, I believe I have a gift. I'm like, you ain't got a gift, girl. Like, you might be more sensitive, but you ain't using it. You ain't practicing it. You ain't doing nothing with it. Don't expect nothing from it. So that's how you have to put in the time and energy to develop this. But that's pretty much how it is. So as usual, my statements are personal opinions, not guaranteed future events. Whatever decisions or actions you take, you are 100% responsible and liable for. You can change your future. It's never set in stone. And I'm not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. You can still ask me those kinds of questions, but for legal medical advice or treatment, you should always consult with a licensed professional. If you want to be on camera with me, go ahead and get over on Instagram or on TikTok, because I will connect with people through video on TikTok and on Instagram. I can't do it through YouTube or Facebook or Twitter because I'm using a program that actually takes the live from Instagram and sends it over to Twitter and YouTube and on Facebook. I can still see the messages on those platforms through the program that I use, but I just can't go live with them. So just FYI with that. If you want to go live, you can do so by looking at the bottom of your screen. There should be a little plus button, I think, and that kind of gives you an opportunity to request to be a guest if you want to be a video guest. If on TikTok, you can also, and there's there you go. And she can also help you understand what you need to do at the bottom of the TikTok to be able to request to be a video guest. If you're on TikTok, you may need to turn on your camera because a lot of times people will come on not realizing that they have their camera switched off in their settings, and you can do that because there's options in the TikTok video where you can select the edit or the thing at the bottom. I think someone said it was at the top. It was a pencil at the top. Someone else said it was a thing at the bottom where you have to click, like if you're going to go into an interview and then actually turn it on. So I don't exactly know the process. I think it may be different for Android and for iOS. I don't know, but just FYI, that's like what I've heard. If you're an asshole and don't know how to communicate or don't know how to get up in here and have manners, you will get banned. I have no energy or time for y'all, and Xtina will make sure that you don't come back into the room. So, all right, let's get started here. I'm not going in any particular way. Yeah, Tracy Kelly on Facebook. Hi, Ferny. My daughter has been in the hospital for a few days now. They keep running tests and acting concerned, but haven't told her much yet. She also has no idea when she's getting out. Her daughters are so worried, as am I. Can you see if she is going to be okay? So a couple of things around this. One is, I do think that it is, first of all, I feel like whatever this is, she can get through. So I am feeling as if this can be something that she can get past or work through. But it may take a process, and there may need to be some sort of procedure at some point. But it may be a series of more tests with specialists outside of her hospital visit before she might be able to get that resolved. Here's what I'm seeing, okay? Remember, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose, but what I'm feeling about this or what I'm seeing about this is immediately when I think of her, I'm reminded of someone that I know. This is an elderly gentleman, though, but what happened was one day he stood up and he just collapsed. And they was like, what's going on? And they thought maybe there was an issue with his legs or with his knees. And at first, that's what they started trying to figure out. And then they thought maybe there's something going on with his blood pressure. They could not figure it out for the longest time. And then he finally got it checked with a cardiologist, and he had to go through heart specialists before they realized it. I'm thinking, what I'm seeing is I'm feeling like there might be a buildup within her cardiovascular system. Either there might be something that may be affecting or contributing to her heart kind of doing something funny, or there may be some fluid that's built up in her system that may need to be addressed. And I do think at some point there is a murmur that may be a part of the process to the heart with this, and the way the blood pressure is flowing through, or blood pressure system that might be connected to this. So I think that's one thing that may come up that they may have to do something about, because I keep seeing her. First of all, it may take a week or two before she's able to get clarity on when she can come home. I kind of feel like this might be a 2-week stay. So just FYI, it may take a couple weeks for her to come home. However, I do think where she's being in the hospital right now is actually the best place for her to be at right now, because if something happens or she starts to lose oxygen, or she starts to have issues where her blood pressure is not stable and they're having trouble stabilizing her blood pressure, this is where she needs to be, because it may become an emergency situation and they have to kind of do something really quickly. But I'm feeling like it may take a couple of weeks before they give her clearance to be able to leave or to go home. But I feel like she still may have some follow-ups with specialists to kind of get this assessed, and she may have to go to 2 separate specialists after this all said and done. But what I'm seeing is I keep seeing the blood issue with stabilizing that, and then the heart, and the way that the heart and the valve is kind of allowing blood to flow through. Because I keep thinking of the other person that I know about that had issues with something like that. So just FYI, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm thinking this might be connected to. Okay. Kennedy, Diane Kennedy, when will I get pregnant again? It might take, I'm seeing 2. So this 2 could be 2 months or 2 years, but I'm going to lean towards 2. Actually, I want to say 2 months, 2 to 3 months. There might be a potential pregnancy around that time. If you get pregnant within 2 to 3 months, you need to follow up with a doctor, because your blood pressure may also be an area of concern, and your cholesterol levels may be a little bit higher. So you may need to pay extra close attention to that pregnancy, because there may be extra things in that pregnancy that you may not have had to do in prior pregnancies. I'm going to say 2 to 3 months. Okay, 2 to 3 months is what I'm going to say. Let me go over here. Danny, will I be in a relationship this year? You might talk to somebody and be talking to someone. That may be in about 7 or 8 months from now. I just don't think it's going to turn into a relationship, because it just doesn't feel like, it almost feels like they either decide they want to retry again with an ex, or they just aren't ready, but they may say that they're ready at first, and you may think it's going to go into the direction of a relationship. So I'm going to say no. I don't think you'll get into actual relationship this year. But I want to say around July of next year, you might have an opportunity to get into a relationship. It also feels like it's with someone who works at a school or is connected to teachers or an educational organization, because I keep seeing a school in my mind. So it might be somebody that's connected to that. Okay. But June or July, summertime of next year is when I think that may happen. Also, if an ex tries to pop back into the picture from now until then, I mean, you do whatever you want to do, because I can't tell you what to do, but I just don't feel like it would really lead to what you would want. And I feel like you'd just be disappointed with that. Elaine Lewis, is my dad around me, and any messages? So yes, the answer is yes, he's around you. I'm seeing baby. So either there is a baby that was miscarried, last terminated, that might be connected that he's trying to let you know that is with him. Or there's been recently a baby born or baby on the way that he's trying to acknowledge, but he's acknowledging this baby energy. So there's a reference there. He's also showing me the number 11. So the 11th of a month may be significant or maybe connected, or the month of November may be significant or connected. He also keeps acknowledging, thank you. I don't know if your dad was into sports or he really cared about sports, but I keep seeing like helmets when they remind me of like a sports team, because I'm seeing something like that. So either there might be something significant about a team that he would have cared about that recently had something incredible happen, or there may be a significance to him in sports where there may even be a picture of him within a sporting environment that may be a significant picture that he's making reference to. He also keeps pointing to his legs, so I don't know if his legs were giving him problems or there was a lack of flow and an issue with the use of his legs, but he's almost like pointing to the legs and he's like doing this, like this is either better or this is functioning in a way that is better. So just FYI with that, okay? Alex, will I leave my current career and be happy? I do think you'll leave your current career, but it may, that's funny. Look at it, there's a hat around. I do think you may leave your career. I'm going to say that you might actually leave. It may not be right away though. I'm going to say that even though you might want to leave this year, I don't think you will leave until the end of next year. So maybe towards the end of 2023 is when I think you'll be leaving. When you first leave, you're going to regret the decision just because change, you don't do well with change. So just the idea of changing all in all, it's almost like, once you get used to one thing going one way, it's almost hard to kind of make that transition. But I actually think you'll be okay with the decision, but it's one of two changes within that next job that comes up for you, because I feel like once you make that change by the end of next year, you'll go into a different industry or different job. And then that opens up an opportunity for you to either get more training, certification, or education, possibly going back to school to get some additional skills. And then like after a year or two, you actually go into another area of the organization. Like for example, like if someone's gonna like, they leave their job and then they go and they work for a hospital, but they're working in like admin, and I'm like, you know what, I think I want to go and become like human resources, or I want to go and become a nurse. Then they go and get the skills, and then they go back and transition into those areas within the organization. Like that's how I would describe it. That's how it feels like to me. Okay. Gigi Bailey. My husband decided to change his career path. Was it a good decision? Will this affect our plans on buying a house this year? I do think it will become a good decision, but I feel like the next 5 or 6 months, career-wise, he may still not be 100% confident about it, but then like at the end of the year, it feels better. So it almost feels like by the end of the year, he's like feeling the progress, and it's almost like he's seeing some positive changes and then some progression and build up. So I actually think it will be better, but it might take till the end of the year before that actually happens. So just FYI with that as well. I don't see y'all buying a property this year or house this year. Y'all might end up waiting until May of 2024 before y'all actually buy property. Okay, or before you buy a house. Oh, it's a good question, Mika only. She's like, hey, how often do you recommend a spirit reading? So when it comes to like spirit communication or spirit readings and communicating with your loved ones in spirit, I have a limit on my site. I actually don't want people to come to me for this more than once a year, just because it's a rule. Like with psychic readings or a life reading, it's every 6 months that I limit it for two reasons. One, people become dependent on psychics. They have a bad habit of becoming dependent on psychics, so they don't know how to make their own decisions. And I ain't that person. I ain't trying to make your decisions for you. I'm trying to make my own decisions barely for myself. So that's one. Secondly, 6 months is enough time to kind of gauge and figure some things out with energy, because when you look into someone's life and future, things can change. People can make different choices and change the future. And so 6 months is a good gauge time frame of when something might change from like 1 6-month period to another. The second thing also, like with mediumship, once a year, because in the very beginning when I first started doing this for a living, I had some people who were trying to come to me like all the time, and I was like, absolutely not. Even though I know you love your loved one and you want that connection, at the same time, they're graduated, they're done. They don't have an obligation to engage with our lives in the way that they would have when they were alive. So they're done with being alive. So mediumship, spirit communication is designed to help you to know that they're with you through affirmation and confirmation, validation of the information. It's designed for that, not for you to have a call with your mom because you want to gossip every week. It's not that. I had people come to me because they couldn't make decisions because after their spouse passed or whatnot, they didn't know what to do with themselves or what to do about the house or what to do about the kids. I'm like, that's not their job now. That's not their job now. Now you're the one in charge. This is your life. Now you have to make those decisions. Don't revert to them because that's not what they're there for. And they won't tell you anyways. I've tried that. They don't want to tell us. Their job is to let us know they're with us, to help us to understand that they love us, that they're supporting us, but not to make the decisions for us or to live our lives for us. So I always have a limit of one a year for clients. And so that's why if people try to book sooner than that, I always tell them, sorry, you're going to have to wait another year. So Ferny, where do you see my future? Is not a question. It's literally a full reading. You have to book an appointment, 30 minutes, I can tell you, but that is not a question. That is not going to help you to connect. That is not going to help you in this instance. So just FYI with that. You need to be specific with your question, folks. My husband know if he will leave his city job. He wants to know a lot about his career-wise. So if he wants to know if he's going to leave his city job. I feel like he's still going to keep the job for another couple years, maybe a year and a half. I would say about a year and a half, about a year and 6 months or so. So he may still stick with it until for another year and a half. And then I think at that point, he'll leave he'll leave that job and then he'll be doing something different. Also, the job he leaves, though, might require more travel. So it might be like a bag of mixed goods. Amanda, will my sister win her case? She may actually win her case on a technicality. What I mean by technicality is something that was supposed to technically be done or supposed to happen a certain way may work in her favor, even if it wasn't. For example, not to say that this is a criminal case, but whenever someone gets arrested, if they're not read their Miranda rights, it literally will get thrown out. And so that's why it's a technicality. So I almost feel like there's a technicality like that might actually help her to kind of have this work in her favor, and she might actually end up winning the case. But I feel like it's around a technicality. No, actually, well, Jason asked me to have a romantic relationship with him. I'm going to say no, just because I kind of feel, like he may not be available, or there may be somebody else that he's involved with. So he may not be 100% available, or he's just not he's not done with a past relationship that's still affecting him. So I'm going to say no, I'm not thinking so. That doesn't mean that there isn't attraction there. I definitely feel like there's attraction, and there may still be flirting and that kind of stuff. I'm just not thinking it's going to lead to a relationship. Susan, will I get the insurance money? Ty, will I get the insurance money? I'm gonna say that I would say I feel like there may be a percentage that is gained. So I want to say maybe 70%. of the insurance money. I just feel like there might be some things that just don't really, it's almost going to feel a little scammy because you know how, like, for example, like sometimes like with insurance companies, like when you have full coverage, but they ain't trying to pay you like the actual value of the vehicle when you got it or even current values for that vehicle. They're trying to pay you like what it's worth with all the stuff taken away because of usage and mileage and all this other stuff. So it's almost like they're going to give you what it's worth now minus like whatever versus, so I feel like it's going to feel like with this specific situation in insurance, it almost feels like there's only like 70% of what it could have been. That's what I'm thinking. Because I was seeing 70 in my head. So I'm assuming it's 70%. Robin, will I get a better roof over my head? Not to December, Mama. So you might have to wait till the end of the year or around December because I feel like things change with your living situation by the end of the year. Nami, would Doug and I reconnect? I'm going to say no. I'm not thinking that you will reconnect. And they're not your soulmate. So if anybody's told you that, you better just get that out of your head because that's going to screw you over. Go over here. Laura. Hi, Ferny. Hope your mom is feeling better. She's doing okay. She's feeling better. I mean, we won't. I mean, right now she's fine. For the next few weeks, I expect she'll be okay. I just hope that the procedure comes out okay for her procedure in April. But let's see. My daughter has a spiritual gift. Will she keep up with it, or give it up? It's not about giving it up. It's just not about putting energy into it. As far as like her spiritual ability, her psychic ability, I guess you can say, I don't feel like she's going to do enough to build it up or to develop it. So as time progresses, she might just be less and less and less sensitive, and that just tends to happen, especially when we fill our head up with all of the worries and the everyday hustle and bustle of life. That's why most people don't realize their own abilities because they're so busy thinking about bills, thinking about love or relationship, thinking about family, thinking about what they hate about their life. They're so busy thinking about everything else that there's no room for them to pay attention or to realize what's being processed in their brain. And that's pretty much what you need to learn to understand and to use your ability. Most people are like, oh, if I just meditate, I'm suddenly going to be psychic. A switch will come on. That's why most people don't end up doing this for a living or don't really build themselves up into a professional they don't want to be wrong. They don't ever want to be on the spot. They don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to take the risk of looking like a fool. They just want to flip a switch and be suddenly psychic and be great at everything. It doesn't work that way. Sorry. You don't get to do that with singing. You don't get to do that with any real skill out there. You have to develop it and refine it. And so with her, I don't feel like she's going to push it or build it into anything. I feel like over time, she's going to lessen her sensitivity. So I'm not thinking it's going to go anywhere. And she can change that. You don't have to listen to me, but it's entirely up to her as far as what she decides to do with it. Gotta leave the high. I was wondering when I will get pregnant again. About a year and 8 months. Lisa, do you see my daughter doing better in school and going to college? Um, Give her about 3 months because I feel like it's gonna take about 3 months to for her to kind of get better, to get in a better mental space or headspace, and I think you'll start to see her improving. I do think she will go to college, but there may be a two-year break, so it's going to take about 2 years before she actually goes in that direction. And it's through a program that may actually cover a lot of the costs or expenses, so it may be like a sponsored program. See, Bertha, can you tell me if I'm going to find my ring? I kind of feel like someone's already. I'm assuming that's what you're asking about. Is that what you're asking about, Bertha? Yeah, because you repeated it. I'm assuming you're asking about a ring and not about a relationship that's like a marriage. So, I feel like someone may have already found the ring, because I feel like it was. I feel like someone's already found the ring, and it may just be in somebody else's possession. Because it's almost like the moment, like someone thinking it's like been lost, or someone thinking that it's been like put somewhere, and it's like it might be something like that where you put it down, or you just take it off, or it falls off, and then somebody else finds it. Like it might be something like that. I'm thinking that's what you're asking about, is a ring. If you're not, then keep an eye on your ring, because you might like it might fall out of your. But part of that is also because you're. I kind of feel like. I see some weight coming off of you, so you might be aware. You might need to be aware of that. So your hormones are changing, so that's probably why your weight is changing. So you start to notice a weight drop. That's probably why. Yeah. You just confirmed it. My ring. Yeah. I'm not. I'm feeling like somebody else has already found the ring, and it's already been like, it's somebody else has it, not realizing that it was yours, or not realizing that it was lost. As far as like by you. So I almost feel like it might be something like that. Here's one of the, if y'all are on Facebook, there's a lot of like psychic scammers on there. Adrienne Perez, hey, sending you love and light. I'm picking an energy around your picture. Send me a friend request for your reading. Blessed be Asi. Like, girl, like that's a lot of words to say. You could have just read them and not had them message you. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, they're always trolls. Y'all get used to it. There are always trolls in the Facebook. Facebook's the worst. That's where most of the trolls are at. In TikTok as well, but there's just people who are too overly invested in things outside of themselves, and so their life is a hot mess, but they would rather get on TikTok and then talk trash about people because they don't have enough to deal with in their own lives to fix. Linda, I've been having problems with my legs and staying tired all the time. Is there anything you can tell me about my health? Yeah, I actually think it's the same thing. I feel like this is your heart. I feel like your heart might be having a little bit of issue, but I also feel like you probably need to go to the doctor sooner rather than later, because I don't feel like this is a light issue to want to play with. And you might need to go on like if you're not already on blood medication, like blood pressure medication, it either requires an adjustment, or there may actually be like a type of clotting event that may be contributing to this. So you may need to go to the doctor sooner rather than later, because I feel like this is connected to your heart area, your circulation, heart, and then lungs. Both of those are going to be tied to this. Kirk, I was a caretaker and have to find a place to live. Will I find a house to buy soon, or will it take longer? I feel like it's going to take a bit. I don't feel like you'll buy a house right away. I feel like you're going to it's going to take about 2 years and 3 months or so to purchase property. But I feel like you'll just be in like something that's like a rental or a lease space before that time. Okay. And I do think you'll find something in about 3 weeks. So you may have to move quickly, because it may be a whole lot of moving and changes within a 3 week period. Dolores, will my love Elzar come into my life again? No, I think they're done. So I feel like that's done. I feel like this is a karmic connection. Doesn't matter how you feel about it or what you want. It doesn't work that way. It's just, I feel like this was a karmic connection, and there was some past life stuff here we're kind of having come up in this lifetime, but I don't feel like that. I feel like that's it. I feel like this person's done and gone on. So I feel like you're gonna have to open up to somebody else, because if not, you're gonna close the door, and then you're gonna not let anybody else in who might actually be a viable option for you. Yeah. Miss Jean, how much time will my brother serve? Feel like he is in a better place after learning about all the decisiveness. It might take a couple years. I'm gonna say about 2 years or so. It might actually be less than that, like a year and 7 months, but I'm gonna say it's about a year and 7 months to 2 years. And it may actually, even though he might be given more time than that, he may only have to do like a year and seven months or so. Let's go back over here. So, Catherine, single few years, will I be in a relationship this year? No, you're too picky. You need to work on that, because you have way too much expectation for how this is supposed to be. And I don't think you're being realistic or practical. And the people around you might see it, you might not see it, or you may not want to see that. So you got to work on that, because you're not letting your guard down, and you're too afraid of being hurt, which I understand that. I get that. I mean, but with any relationship in life, whether it's with family, with kids, with loves, it requires a risk of hurt. And every single relationship will hurt you in one way, shape, or form, whether you want it to or not. Even the healthiest relationships, there's pain that you suffer from in those relationships, because things happen, So, things happen. With you need to learn to let your guard down and be less picky and have less expectation, and work on being more vulnerable and being okay with being vulnerable. It isn't the people who are afraid of being hurt and protect themselves who meet easily the people who would be best fits for them. It's the people who accept the reality that pain comes with the game of love, and are willing to accept the experience of pain as part of the process. Because even if you do have to deal with situations where you meet people and it doesn't work out, that's not going to stop you and keep you from pushing yourself through that. There are times where I fall flat on my face when it comes to doing readings and psychics. There are some times where I make predictions and they don't come true, or they're wrong. And that happens. Every psychic gets things wrong sometimes, or doesn't get things as accurately. So that's why I have a page on my website dedicated to showing y'all everything so far that I've predicted publicly, that is correct and that is not correct, so y'all can see for yourselves. I ain't trying to hide anything or sugarcoat it. I didn't get that right. I missed it. And so what I would say to you is you need to be willing to accept pain as part of the game. If you're not willing to accept that, then you're not going to be able to find somebody. So as of right now, I feel like your energy is locked in place and is not allowing for anybody to come in. Your gates are closed. The tower is not allowing planes to land. And so they're just circling and flying off to somebody else. So you need to work on that. But you might, as of right now, if you do nothing to change this, I think it's going to take about 3.5 years before you actually have an opportunity to connect with somebody. And it's interesting because it might be with someone that you did not want to be in a relationship with, or did not want to fall for, but ended up falling for. It also feels like it's someone that's already in a relationship or may not be available, and it becomes a bit of a it becomes drama. So that's what I'm seeing then. You don't have to go that route. You don't have to let that happen. And you're like, oh, we'll never have that. I don't know. Like, girl, like I have spoken to enough people in this world to say, I will never do this. And then like 2 years later, that's exactly what they did. I was one of those, because that's what I said, that I would never turn into my mother, with falling in love with a person that was abusive. And I ended up falling in love with people who were abusive. So don't say you won't never do something, because once you get hit by the love bug, you will definitely have to deal with that. But you can change that. But I feel like the next opportunity is in like that 3.5 year period. So just FYI with that. Open up to new options, open up to new connections, date outside your type. Just, do you see my small business being successful? So I feel like it definitely can, but it's almost like investing in like the way I want to describe your business and what you're expecting. It's almost like getting into propeller planes when jet engines are the norm. It's almost like that's old. Like I ain't gonna stay with the trend. So you might need to update your trends within the next year or so, because if not, you may spend too much money on a trend that is not going to be sustainable, and then at some point it just is no longer. It's almost like those vitamins that people were selling like forever, or like the Pelotons. Like a few years ago everybody's buying Pelotons and whatnot, and now it's like not really that popular, or people are just getting away from it. It's the same thing. So stay with the trends. You may need to adapt the business so that you can stick with what's the trend in the next year, and if you can do that and stay consistent, then I think you can do well. But what I'm seeing happening, which is why I'm telling you this, because I don't want you to have to go down this route, is I see you like just giving up within the year because you get frustrated because you're not seeing the level of growth you want, and on top of that you're going against the trend. And so that's why I'm like like you need to like upgrade as things become more popular. You need to stick with the trend, so that way your business model can be based on what is in demand and what you can offer that's in demand, versus just like trying to stick to an old model that may not stick in the long run. Okay, go over here. Kimunse 11. When do you see me getting married? About 2 years. So I feel like you'll be getting married in about 2 years. No. Josh, will me and Danny be back together in a relationship between April and May 2022? I would say no. I kind of feel like they're going to be already in another relationship. However, that doesn't mean you won't have interaction with them, or that they won't try to come back in or connect again with you. But that doesn't mean that's a relationship. That just means like I'm calling you and I'm like, drunk, or I'm calling you because like I want some special time with you. Like I don't feel that I see a relationship with this person again, but I'm seeing the potential reconnect in that way. So just FYI with that, because you don't want to feel like you're being like strung along. ER Nurse 1973. Do you see me staying with my current company and moving up? I actually think I want to say yes and no. I see you staying with the organization, but the organization itself, how can I put this? It feels like around May or June, there's a shuffle that takes place, and around that time, there may be other locations or facilities or other branches, I guess you can say, which there might be opportunities to move up. But if you do that, hypothetically, it wouldn't be with the same company, because it feels like it would be a subsidiary or like a different branch that isn't technically the same organization. In other words, here's an example of this. Like when I used to work at Starbucks was its own company, right? But Starbucks also owns Seattle's Best. And so if I had, let's say they were going to build a Seattle's Best 2 blocks away from a Starbucks, and they were like, hey, there's openings and opportunities, and they were offering more money for their managers than we were being paid, and then I would have gone with that. I would technically not be working for the same organization, but then I actually would be. So it's almost like it's like a vibe like that. But yeah, I could say it's moving up, but not right away, because I feel like it's the lateral move first with the location or the subsidiary, and then there's like a move in 2 years, 2 years and 3 months, and that's when there's like a promotion. But you kind of have to establish yourself with the swap first, before you can have those opportunities. So Molly, hi Fernando. Will my boyfriend's pain go away? He's had it 3 years now. It came out of nowhere. It's called trigeminal neuralgia. It's also called suicide disease because the pain is so bad people can't deal. I feel like it can get better. I don't know exactly what that is. I'm assuming the neurological system would be tied to that. But what I keep seeing though is I keep seeing his spine, and so I feel like there might be a trigger in his spine or in his back that might contribute to the condition and be kind of like a trigger. And so what I see happening is I keep seeing these injections. I don't know if these are injections to help with the mental condition or if these are injections that actually can help with the back trigger that might reduce the effect of the condition that you're talking about. But I feel like he might have to talk to a few different I guess you could say specialist, but I want to say it's like outside of the main industry or main field of this area of health. But I feel like there's something in his spine that might be a trigger that might be able to some extent. And so I feel like there's something like that. For example, my partner's sister, she suffers from arthritis, and she's pretty young to be having arthritis, but she's had it for a long time. And so every month she takes an injection that is supposed to help with the arthritic issues that she has. And it helps to keep it under control or to keep it stable enough. I feel like there's something like this that might be tied to his condition that might be an option within the next like 3 to 5 months that y'all may know of or hear about that may be connected to a trigger in the spine. So y'all may look this up because I don't even know if that is correct or not, but that's how I'm seeing it in my head. So you might need to look it up, and then if you can see that this is a possibility, you might be able to find someone who might be able to help with the situation, because I do feel like it can be improved upon, the situation with this pain. Okay. Oh, look, they allow moderators on Instagram now. How interesting. I just saw that. That's like a new thing. Chloe Ocean. Hi, Ferny. When do you see me going to East Asia? Will I enjoy it there? Also, will my mom get a new job soon? It's gonna be a while for her. She might actually get either a promotion or a change of position or role in a couple of months, and then that may be where she just decides to stick it out. So she might end up just staying put. As far as Asia, you might actually go twice on 2 separate occasions. The first time though feels like it's a bit poorly planned, or it's just not the best option. In other words, for example, when I went to Peru to go to Machu Picchu, I went through like a travel agency or through a travel program where like they take us through, because we were going to another country. I didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what to expect, and it was a big deal. So it was with a group of people, and we went, and they had us staying in places like every 2 or 3 days. I definitely got to see a lot. I would not do it again, just because I feel like there were days where I was in a place where I just really didn't want to be. There were places that we stayed at where I was like, it's nice, but I wouldn't have wanted to spend all my time here or even any time here, because I feel like this other place that we stayed at would have been better. So I feel like had I planned it out differently or gone about it in a different way, I would have spent most of my time in Cusco and also in Machu Picchu town. I wouldn't have really gone to Lima. Lima was just like a city next to the ocean. And there were other places like Valley of the Gods and all that stuff. I was like, those are nice, but there was a little too much touristy kind of like fake vibe with some of the buildings and the places that were there. I would have just preferred to stay in Machu Picchu town and Cusco, and those 2 places would have been enough for me. So I feel like with you, the first time you go, there might be some weird planning like that you may be like, well, the next time I do this, I'm going to do it differently. I think you will like the places. I'm not sure the trip itself would be 100% what you would have preferred or wanted yourself. But then the second time you go, which is like 2.5 years after the first time, that feels like it's a much better trip, and that may actually cause you to want to possibly think about a future move there. I don't think you will, but it may cause you to think about that. It may take about 2.5 years before you take the trip though. So it may take 2.5 years to kind of take that trip itself. Let me bring somebody on. What time is it? Sorry guys, I don't want to run out of time here. Hello,
Hi, let's see if I
Sarah.
can figure out. Okay, let's see.
Hi.
Let me see if I can flip my camera.
Yeah. There you are. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? Hey, are you
Hello.
Sarah from high school?
Yes.
Oh, girl.
Yes.
Hey, girl. Hey. How you doing, mama?
Good.
Good, good, good. What do you want to ask me about?
If you have any messages from my mother, because she just recently passed in February.
Yeah, the first thing she's showing me, thank you. She's like making my heart beat a little bit fast. Do you know if she was having high blood pressure right before she passed, or she was having like almost like I can't catch my breath, I can't catch my breath? Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Because she's making me feel this way. She also makes me feel like this was two issues coming together at once, and then this kind of spiraling out of control. Do you know if she was already dealing with another issue before this came up?
I mean, there was 2 issues of concern when I took her to the emergency room.
Okay, because it's almost like there was already an existing issue that was starting to like build up, and then this one came up, and then it's like it was just like a perfect storm to come up and to happen this way. Do you know if she had a cardiac event, or she actually ended up having a cardiac arrest in the hospital?
Yes.
Okay, because she's acknowledging that. Before this happened, though, the week before this happened, do you know she was also having pains, or thought that she was having like a lot of weird pains in her side, or like weird sensations?
It was in her neck.
Okay, because she's acknowledging that that was tied to her condition and the situation with her. So she's making reference to that. She's almost blaming herself because she's like, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was that bad. So she's kind of blaming herself because she feels like she should have gone when she thought maybe something was going on, because she's making reference to this. She also keeps thank you. She's doing this, so she's like showing herself off as if she's like, it's funny. Had your mom been like becoming more bloated, or more? She had been building up fluid more before she passed, because she's showing me this. She wants to take me back to when she was younger, and this was not an issue because she's showing me herself in this younger form, and she's like, "I'm so much better. I feel so much better, Mija." So she's like acknowledging that. She also wants to apologize because she kind of might have felt mom getting older was not easy for her, and her getting older and having health issues and these like things happening were just a struggle for her. And so she's making me feel as if it was causing her to like almost struggle in her mind as well, to where she was having more bouts of depression, or she wasn't feeling her best self. So she's apologizing for having that happen, but she's like, it was because of what I was going through, Mia. So she's almost acknowledging that. She did come in a dream. Do you remember having a dream of her right after she passed, or if one of the girls had a dream about her?
Yeah, my sisters.
Okay, because she's acknowledging that that was her coming through, and she was trying to let you know that was her. She's showing me a heart. Do y'all have a locket or a heart-shaped something that is connected to mom?
I gave my sister a locket for her birthday.
Perfect. She's acknowledging knowing about this and making reference to this. She also just said happy birthday. Are we also within 30 days of a birthday right now?
Yeah, both my sisters on March 7th and March 3rd.
Perfect. She's acknowledging the birthday, so she's making reference to that as well. She's sorry to miss it, so she wants to get them something. She also says birds and feathers are a sign from her, so y'all may have experiences with birds and feathers and hummingbirds, because hummingbirds would be a part of the bird equation as well. But she also keeps putting wings on her. Do you know if either, you know how sometimes people go to those walls and they take a picture with those wings, or if someone made a picture with wings on her?
Not that I know of.
And it even says like our angel in heaven, or our mom angel in heaven, or mom got her wings, and there's like a picture. She's showing me this. And it might have been a
No,
post.
not that.
That's okay. It might have been a post or something that someone did, because this is how she's describing it to me. So she's acknowledging that. Your mom never wanted to get to the point where she was a burden on people, because she's always been this independent, strong personality. She never wanted to be that like a bedridden person. And she says like it's almost like it was a choice. What she says is when she lost consciousness, they gave her a choice. You can come back, but you will be bedridden for some time, and they're gonna have to take care of you. And she didn't want that for y'all. And she said she was already getting a taste of this before she passed, and she didn't want that for y'all. So she's acknowledging that it was ultimately a choice for her to decide if she wanted to come back or not, but she did not want to put that on y'all. So she's making reference to this. Do you also have a double ring or a 2-part ring that is connected to mom?
It was her wedding band.
Okay, so she's acknowledging that. She also, thank you. She's showing me the number 7. Do you know if July or the 7th of a month is significant?
March 7th was Vanessa's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, 7 and maybe July. That's her anniversary with her husband.
Okay, that's probably why she brought that up right after the rings then. So she's probably just acknowledging the anniversary with the husband and then acknowledging that as well. Jaden or Jason or Jordan, do you know if there's a Jason, Jaden, or Jordan type name connected?
No, the only J is Jacob.
Who is that to her?
That's her grandson.
Okay. Do you know there was something he just did where he had to get on stage to like speak something, or he had to go and participate in something on stage?
No.
Do you remember back in the day when we used to have to get on stage and take those class pictures, or we used to have to like rehearse like those things in front of people? She's showing me something like this, so I don't know if he either just got like a graduation type thing, or there's something on stage that he is having to do that she's acknowledging being aware of or seeing him.
Yeah, I'd have to ask him because he's a very private teenager.
Okay.
So I don't know.
There's something, it's almost like, it's interesting because even though you're saying he's private, there's something very public or very in front of people that he may have to do or that may come up that she's acknowledging for him or making reference to, because there's association with this. I'm seeing music. Do you know if he cares for music or he knows how to play an instrument?
No.
Okay, there's something to this. Here's what I'm gonna say. There's something to it that she's acknowledging or aware of that is connected to that. Mama's okay, sweetheart. She's with you. She's okay. She didn't want to put the burden on y'all.
Does she blame me at all
No.
for what happened?
Nope. She said no. She says, thank you. I'm not mad at you. She's actually saying, I'm not mad at you. So she's not upset with you, sweetheart. She's actually asking for forgiveness because she says that it might have been hard on y'all because she didn't always make the best decisions when it came to her relationships. And sometimes it would put y'all in weird situations where it almost felt like a choice for her or feeling like it was like, so she's acknowledging that. Do you understand that?
No.
There was a prior relationship, not the one she was in last in, another relationship when y'all were younger, when y'all were growing up. Was there someone in the picture who wasn't really the best fit for her or really wasn't the best person that she should have been involved with, where it just made it a little hard and put pressure on her in the family?
Does it have to be like her spouse? Because she's been with her spouse for 47 years.
No, this is something else. This is something else. It's almost like I think this is about her spouse is not your dad, right? Your dad is a different person?
Yes.
She's acknowledging
No.
that she's talking about this with the father, with the dad. Like she's apologizing about that not being a stable connection or that not being the right connection. With your dad, do you know if she and your dad did not have the healthiest relationship or they were not in a good place?
Yeah, I mean, they argued a lot, but they loved each other.
Okay.
Yeah, he was pretty tough.
Okay, I feel like it's more to do with that because she's almost acknowledging like it's this feeling of like, will that work? Won't that work? It's almost like this idea of that relationship. And I think she's referring to the father relationship and that was harder on y'all because there was these ideas around what could have been or what. And so she's talking about that relationship is what I think she's referring to. So that's what she's acknowledging and making reference to. There are 3 babies with her in spirit as well. So there might have been 3 babies that were miscarried, lost, or terminated. Okay. She's okay, sweetheart. She's with you, Mama. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mama. You take care of yourself. And say hi to Vanessa for me.
I will. Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, going over here. Let's see. Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Awesome. Oh, question. Just before you ask me anything, if you have an opportunity to get involved in like a venture with like another female or with like a friend or relative, it's not a bad idea. It could actually do very well, but it has to be properly strategized because the strategy is going to make or break it.
Okay, perfect. That's so funny that you said that. This is happening.
Oh, cool. Good. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to connect with my father.
Mm-hmm. I just heard happy birthday. Are we within 30 days of a birthday right now? Or date of significance?
Yeah, my mom's birthday, who passed, was yesterday.
Perfect. He's just acknowledging the birthday, so he's making reference to that, which is probably his way of acknowledging your mom. So there's a reference there.
Yeah.
They also, just funny because I just saw St. Patrick's Day. That was yesterday, wasn't it? That was it.
Yeah.
Got it. He's doing this. Did y'all toast him, or did y'all actually do like a celebration of life type thing for him because he's like having a drink?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So he's acknowledging that. Do you also know people got together for a dinner to commemorate like him or both of them after the fact?
Yes, we did, with their best friends.
Perfect. So he's aware of the dinner, so he's making reference to that. Do you also know
Wow.
people donated money in their honor, or there was like a chair or a bench that may have been, oops, let's see, my thing's ready.
Yes, there was, yeah, he wanted to donate to the Basset Hound Foundation, and everyone donated to it. It was his favorite dog.
Perfect. So he's acknowledging the donations, but there may also be like a bench put at like a dog park or like at a park or someplace where they're also, it's outside and it's a park area where it may be an additional donation that's connected to him as well. Because he's also showing me a seating area outside. And what I'm reminded of, which is why I'm thinking that, I'm reminded of like Meghan McCain and her picture with her dad before he passed, where they were like sitting on a bench looking out into the hills. So he's showing me something like this. So either there's a special bench picture or there's an actual bench or something outside that will be honored for him as well, because there's a reference there. Damien or Dan? Do you know there's a Damien or Daniel sounding name connection? Younger male?
My sister's husband is Remington.
No, this is like a Damien or...
No.
This is a military person. This is someone who was in the military and might have even passed from the military.
His father was, but his name was Harold.
No, this is a younger male. This is like, oh, we went to school with this guy, or oh, this was the guy that lived on our block. It was a guy who went to the military. He got shipped off to Iraq, and he may not have come back, or he got killed in the line of duty. So this is the guy who is like coming across in this way. He is somehow tied to you or to your immediate family. So just remember that I said that, because you might have to ask them about it. But this is the guy who was like honored, and they may have even mentioned it in the news, because it almost feels like sometimes like our hometown hero, or like this is how I want to describe this person, because they did die in the line of duty. And that would be the name that would be associated with that. So just FYI, when you ask them, they might hopefully be able to relate to who that is, so that they can pass on the message that he's okay. Your dad also acknowledges, thank you, Catalina. Do you know if there's also a reference to either California or Catalina Island or being on a boat?
He went on golf trips to California often.
Okay.
He wanted to retire.
Perfect. He's just acknowledging that this is what his heaven looks like. So this is probably how he's trying to make reference that this is his heaven now. So he's acknowledging. He also says he upgraded the boat, or he upgraded this. So he's acknowledging that as well. He also makes me feel, thank you. Butterflies are a sign from him. So just know that that's a sign from him. What's interesting is mom and dad both use the same symbol. So butterflies are going to be tied to both of them. So just know that that's going to come across from both of them. With your dad also, he's making the funny like be in the belly or belly, like he's doing this like bellyache, or like making a joke about like a bellyache or a belly laugh or something like that. Do you know if your dad ever did something like that, where he would make a joke, or there was a reference to like the bellyache or the belly laugh or something like that?
No, not really. It sounds more like my grandpa, honestly.
Okay, because the way I'm seeing George, is there a reference to the name Georgie or George or George? Joe?
He had a friend named George.
Okay, hold on. Because I'm feeling now feels like a crude personality, but I don't want to tie that to your dad, because I don't feel like your dad was a crude personality. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the is like a crude personality that is tied to like this George name. Do you know if the friend could be a little crude or be very sometimes inappropriate with the things that they would say?
Yes.
Okay. He's
Yeah,
just
that's
acknowledging being with his friend. So he's probably acknowledging the friend. But because you said that being a belly or whatever, there may actually be a reference to the stomach or the digestive system that might have been tied to that person and their passing or their condition. So just FYI, there might be something like that that's tied to the friend with the being the belly type thing. Your dad.
well, he's still alive, but yeah, he is dealing with those
Okay.
issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if he's dealing, he needs to be very careful about that because that's why probably he's trying to bring the
Wow.
attention. But it's that being the belly. So just FYI with the person in the belly and the George, okay? Or Joe. Do you have your dad's glasses?
I do have one pair of his glasses.
Perfect. He also says he triggered the fire alarm. So if the fire alarm has been acting really weird after you replace the battery, that's still him. So he might just be messing with y'all or letting you know he's around y'all. Y'all may actually also have a chance to catch him on a ring or on like those doorbell things that catch like people when they're at the front door. There's something like that may get triggered. That is him doing it, and you may see something in the image that may indicate that it was a weird thing. But there's something like that as well. He's writing something out. Do you know if someone wrote out a poem or read out one of his favorite songs or poems for his memorial or dedicated to him as memorial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My aunt did. It was we wrote out the lyrics to the
perfect,
song.
Perfect. He's just acknowledging that. He says, thank you. So he says he feels fully honored. He also says your mom is driving him crazy. So he's making a joke and like messing with her. So he's acknowledging that. He also is wanting you to know, thank you. Dad loves you. He's okay. He's okay. He's doing this. Do you know if there's intentions for an engagement or wedding soon, the family?
No, but I'm wearing his wedding ring.
Oh, okay. So he's just acknowledging that. You're not engaged yet or married yet?
No. My sister's married, but I'm single. Very single.
Okay. Did she get married after his passing?
Right after my mom's passing.
Okay. Does she have mom's ring or does she wear mom's ring?
I left mom's ring with her.
Perfect. That's probably your mom trying to butt in and get in there. She's like, oh, I know about the wedding, and she wore my ring. Got it. So they're both just talking over each other at this point, but mom is acknowledging wearing the ring for the wedding. Yeah, so she just knows. So she's acknowledging that. They're okay, sweetheart. They're with you. They're with you.
Oh, thank you, Ferny. I really appreciate it so.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Well, you take care of yourself. I wish you well and enjoy your weekend.
That partner thing is wild because I'm about to do that. So
interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
All right, honey.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's see. Got like my battery over here on my iPad is about to like die. Let me connect it because I don't want it to die. So I'm gonna jump this over real quick. Hold on, y'all, because Jesus, I'm like, no, don't run out of batteries. It's about to like disconnect from my iPad. It's like, you have 0 power, Ferny. I'm like, I normally charge it, but the last time I had this connected, let's see. Yes, okay, it connected out. So now it's on power, so it doesn't go off on TikTok. Yeah, like a little while ago, it was like saying it was saying that, and I was like, it's gonna like completely disconnect from me. The last time I had it connected, and it wouldn't let the volume come through, and then it messed up my whole routine. So I was like trying to avoid that altogether. Let me come back over here to Insta.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, sweetheart.
Sorry, I'm around elderly, so I got to wear my mask.
No, you're fine. Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that. People don't realize. I'm like, I always tell people like, it doesn't matter what y'all believe. You still need to do it when you're around people who have cancer or elderly people because they still can be susceptible to normal germs and normal infections. So just don't want to like subject those people to that. So what do you want to ask about? Right.
Do you see any like messages for me? Do I tell you?
Yeah, who do you want to connect
my dad.
to?
I'm
okay,
all my dad.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Because if not, we'll open this up and it'll take a long time to get to the person.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so with your dad, actually I've seen 2 father figures. Do you have a father-in-law that's also passed or another father figure that's also passed?
No.
Okay, so I'm seeing two father figures. So your dad would be one of them. There's another father figure. So this would be another person that acted or operated like a father to you. That could be a father-in-law. That could be an uncle who took over, who popped in. But there's another father figure that's also in spirit. So just FYI.
Can it be a pet?
A pet?
Yeah. I know that's weird,
No.
but can it be no.
No, it's not weird. But no, I don't think
Okay.
this is like a person. This is like a thank you. Let me see. Let me get Dad on the line first because let's talk to him and then I can try to figure out who the other guy is. With your dad. The first thing he's showing me, do you have a picture of him wearing a white cap or a white hat on?
I think so.
Okay. He also keeps acknowledging the 23rd. Do you know if the 23rd of a month is significant or February 3rd is connected?
February 3rd?
Or the 23rd of a month?
February 3rd or 23rd. I can't think of anything.
Okay, so either the
February.
23rd of the month is significant, death date, anniversary date, birthday, etc., or the February 3rd would be connected because it's that 23 number. So 23 would be February 3rd or the 23rd of any month. So just FYI, that's how that would be
Okay.
connected. He also
Okay.
keeps doing this. So he's like wanting to show me that he can use his hand or he has motor control. Before your dad passed, do you know if he had been losing the ability to have motor control? He had been losing his ability to control his body? And he's specifically acknowledging his arm and his hand, and he's like sending a sensation down my arm or hand.
I mean, before any sickness, no.
Okay.
Because he was hospitalized, so I mean, while he was
Yeah.
there, I couldn't tell you. But prior, no.
This is more like he's doing this, like he's making that sensation down my arm and my hand. Do you know if before? Thank you. Did your dad's heart fail, or did he go into a cardiac event as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
He
like a heart
passed.
attack.
He passed from COVID, but what took him was a heart attack.
Okay, because he's acknowledging the heart attack. He's acknowledging the sensation in his hand. Before he went to the hospital, he might have been feeling weird sensations in his hands, or because he keeps bringing he wants to make me feel this some way. So for me, either it's because there's a loss of motor control and he's acknowledging that there is now motor control, or something was affecting his, and he could feel this in his palm. The thing about it is, I feel like his health before COVID wasn't all that great either, because it almost feels like there was already something happening that was affecting his blood pressure and his heart. So there may have already been an existing condition or issue that was present prior to COVID, and then COVID just brought it on or like amplified the effect on his system. Do you understand that?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you also know if a year before he passed, if he had gone to the doctor about a year before he passed, and they had mentioned that there is a possibility he might have some issues with his blood pressure and might even need to have his heart checked?
¿Le dijeron a mi dad eso? Que si tenía high blood pressure?
If he had his blood pressure is elevated and he might need to check his heart?
Yeah, they didn't, pero nada del corazón, right? Nada del corazón. They didn't say anything about his heart, but he did have high blood pressure.
Okay, because what he's telling me is almost like was that mom talking?
Yeah, that's my mom.
Okay, mamá, antes que el año antes que se murió, no sabes si él fue al doctor y si le dijeron a él que su presión era un poco alto y a lo mejor él tiene que chequear su corazón para mirar si hay unos problemas ahí.
No, le dieron medicamento para la alta presión.
Okay, so
Pero
sí le dieron medicamento. Okay.
Sí.
For a high blood pressure. Uh-huh.
Got it. Was he
Para
supposed to follow up and did not go back to follow up?
Tenía que ir para atrás y ya no fue.
Pues, para algo del corazón, no.
No, pero del high blood
de la
pressure.
presión,
Sí.
de la alta presión.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Pues,
blood pressure.
Okay.
pues, se estaba tomando su medicamento y iba a ir después y luego le dio el...
Yeah, he was supposed to go back,
Okay.
to check on the blood pressure, but then he
Yeah.
got the COVID.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because the way he makes me feel is that had he gone back before he got COVID, they might have still seen that his blood pressure was still off, and they would have I feel like they would have understood something was going on besides just blood pressure, because he's acknowledging that. He also keeps showing me the number 3 as well. Do you know if the 3rd of a month or March is also significant?
He passed on the 3rd.
Okay, so he passed on the 3rd. So just FYI with that as well.
The day 3rd, the day, not the month, but the day.
No, that's fine. Yeah, the 3rd. Yeah. So because that would be the March or the 3rd of a month. So if he passed on the 3rd, that makes sense to me. He also keeps acknowledging the 12th. Do you also know if there's another date of significance on the 12th of a month or in December?
Hay un día importante en diciembre 12.
En diciembre o en el 12.
Diciembre o un 12. Well, they got married in December.
Perfect. He's just acknowledging the other date of significance in December, significant to mom. So pretty much he's wanting to come forward to let her know.
He was very
So
religious.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So he's just wanting to acknowledge those special dates for her because it's his way of acknowledging that he's still with her and he's been with her since he passed. He says that he is at peace and he wants her to know this, but he doesn't want her to worry that he is going to continue to stay with her and that he won't leave her alone until she's ready to join him. But yeah, he's going to be watching over her. This is his way of acknowledging he's watching over her. He also says for her not to be scared if any of the pictures end up falling or end up like having issues, because that may just be his way of trying to get y'all's attention.
Dice que siempre que él te está dando esas fechas porque son significantes días y que él quiere que sepas que siempre va a estar aquí y siempre está aquí viéndote. Y que
protegiéndote, mamá, protegiéndote.
Oh, protegiéndote. Y
siempre me protegió mucho.
She's crying.
Yeah, no, it's
Y
okay.
que
Te quiere decir que te va a proteger y que él siempre va a estar con usted, que no te va a dejar, porque cuando llegue su día, él va a ser la primera persona que vas a mirar. So, él te está diciendo eso. También te está diciendo que no te preocupes, que si algo pasa en la casa, como que se caiga si se cae un foto o algo así que se quebra, que no es algo negativo, que él nomás está tratando de decirte que él está contigo para darle un seño. Te va a mandar, te va a dar pennies, what is it called?
un penny. She knows penny.
Yeah.
She's found them before.
Perfect. That's his way of acknowledging that he's leaving them for her. He also said, thank you. Is there a Joseph or Jose or Joseph name connection to the family?
Jose, that's my dad.
Okay. He's just trying to give me his name. So he's just acknowledging that. And then there's also another male as well. Does she have an older brother who's also passed? Or brother that's passed? He just says to tell her that the brother is there as well. He ran into the brother and he's passing on his hello as well.
Su older brother. De ella. Her older brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's okay, sweetheart. He's okay. He's at peace. He's not in any pain. And this was no one's fault. This was just a random thing, a bunch of things that just started to come down, and then it just led to this. But it's okay, sweetheart. He's okay.
Do you have anything for me? Any messages for me?
Thank you. Mom. He's like,
she said thank you. She said
Thank you very much.
De nada, mama, de nada. He wants to let you know you don't always have to feel like you're the person that has to take care of everything or control everything. He says sometimes you have to let others step in to help you, and it's okay to ask for help. So he wants you to get better with that. There's a baby with him as well. So there might have been a baby that was miscarried, lost, or terminated, or that did not make it. That's also in spirit, to let you know about that as well. He also says there's a dog with him also in spirit. So there might have been a dog that didn't make it or that passed away. That's also with him in spirit as well. Chewy. It's like Chewy's or Chew sounding nickname that might be connected to the animal, because I'm hearing a name like that as well. So there might be an animal with that as well. There's also a bird. So y'all may have had birds at some point, because he's acknowledging the birds there also. He also says that you he just says he loves you. he could be sometimes stubborn and wouldn't want to listen when you would tell him stuff, and he's apologizing for not always listening to what you wanted him to do, and he's like saying thank you for just caring and loving him. But he's okay, sweetheart. Okay.
Okay.
All right, darling. You take care of yourself,
Thank
Mama.
you. Thank
You're
Thank
welcome,
you very
sweetheart.
much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
De nada, Mama. Bye-bye.
Ajá.
Okay.
Bendiciones.
I don't
I got it. I got it on my end. All right, guys. I am out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. I love you all. I will be back next Wednesday as usual, okay? All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Bye, everybody.